if a woman doesn't respect a man, then how is that relationship going to work? She can't look up to a guy that she doesn't respect that won't accept the word no, right? Like there's certain things that, like one of the most horrible examples of relationships, and, I'm going to go down a limb here and maybe piss off some of your audience, but Jordan Peterson put out a 3-part series, a private series behind the paywall on the Daily Wire, blah, blah, blah. And, in this series, he was basically calling men pathetic and saying, you need to man up. He didn't offer much useful guidance and advice as far as vetting or any kind of red flags to look for. And he was talking about negotiating everything down to where the scissors go in the utility drawer, right? Everything. Pictures on the wall, couches, furniture, everything. Negotiating with your wife where everything goes. And I think there's certain things where it's like, look, babe, the budget for the curtains is X number of dollars. And if you're the kind of guy that's just like, put up whatever you want, you trust her decorating skills, that's fine. But there's certain elements, like there's certain parts of your life and your house and the way that you structure things where it just has to be, this is the way that it's going to be. And because I'm the head of the household and I'm the man, that's just the way that it's going to be, sort of thing. I think that some of the advice that's given to guys from guys like Peterson about negotiating where the scissors go in the utility drawer, that's awful advice. And negotiating every part of the relationship is going to lead to obligated compliance down the road, which will turn into resentment. And that doesn't work for either party.
I am like, this is the number one rule for me, for guys, is learn to tell your wife no, because they're too scared to negotiate everything. That sounds exhausting. What woman would want that?
Go. Just tell me how you've organized a drawer. Like, just point to it and tell me where I can find the scissors. It doesn't matter to me. Like that couch behind me is $12,000 from Restoration Hardware. That's the couch that I want. And if she's going to tell me that's not a good enough couch or it's too manly or whatever, I don't care. This is my room. This is the couch that's going in my office. And that's just the way that it's going to be.
But isn't that the same thing as a man cave?
No. This is part of the house. A man cave is a corner of the basement. It's a sequestered corner of the garage.
Well, you and I are looking at man cave differently.
Like this is the main floor of the house, right?
Right.
Oh, that TV's too big. You can't put that TV on the wall. No, that's a TV that's going on a wall. I've bought it and that's where it's going to be.
How do you feel about men who are allowing their wife to dictate their sex life? And when I say this, I'm saying, what's the number of times a week? I know statistically average that once a week for having sex is the stat. What do you think is a reasonable amount of times, or that a man should expect a wife to be interested in sex when we're talking about a long-term relationship?
Are you ready to put on a seatbelt and get down into the weeds on this?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to blow your hair back. All right. So there's 3 things that kill attraction in a long-term relationship. Familiar, and they all end with itty, by the way. Familiarity, exclusivity, and proximity. And the more that you're around each other, the more familiar that she is with the schedule, and the more that she's assured that you're not with other women, the less she's going to be attracted to you. And guess what? That's what marriage facilitates, right? Because when you get married, most guys abandon other sexual opportunities. They live together with a woman. She has a schedule, and then they wonder why she doesn't want to bang him, right? It's like the more that you apply these 3 itties to the relationship, the worse the experience guys will have. I mean, most guys can go back in their memory log and think, gee, when I was single or when I was dating or when we were just dating and maybe I had some other options, she was all over me like a fat kid on a piece of cake all the time. And then all of a sudden now, you get married, she's assured of your location all the time. She's assured of your schedule and your calendar, who you're with, where you're going. You both live under the same roof. Family law is going to protect her if she ever wants to untie the knot, if she's not happy about something. All of a sudden the behavior changes. Women don't want what other women don't want. Women want what other women want, right? Like one of the conditions that are very favorable to men having an abundant and happy and pleasant sex life is her believing that she can be replaced, that she is not your only option, right? I can't say for certain what the ideal cadence or frequency is, but she should be enthusiastic about it. And it should be frequent enough that you're not, upset or, discouraged or, having issues in the relationship because she doesn't want to sleep with you. You can solve many of those problems by not living with a woman and not giving her sexual exclusivity. You can give her commitment without the exclusivity. Those things can be independent, believe it or not. But there's different ways to structure that. But if you're talking to married guys that have been married for like 5 or 10 years, they got kids, and they're asking you questions like, how do I get my wife to bang me? It's like, my friend, the go plan is the same as a stay plan. It's increase your value, increase your level of attractiveness. And if she's not coming around to you, it boils down to this. She's got first dibs on the D. If she doesn't want it, take your business elsewhere.
I like that you use that term first dibs, because that's what I always say regarding any guy who, or a woman who has a problem with a man masturbating. And I'm like, hey, if he comes to her first and says, hey, babe, let's go. And she's like, nah, not vibing it in the moment. And then he goes off and takes care of his own business. And then she gets upset about it. I'd be like, you know what? You had first dibs. You didn't want it. A lot of guys are even like secretly hiding that they have to take care of their own business. If you're a guy and you do that, there's no shame. Just be like, yeah, I did that. I came to you first. What do you expect? I went through early menopause at 45. And so for 5 years, I've been on hormone replacement therapy and testosterone. And when I went on testosterone, mind you, the level I'm at on as a female is still just a sliver of what an ordinary man walks around with. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I ever denied my husband. This is awful. Like, I felt really bad. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm trying to like scream from the rooftops, like, sleep with your husbands, give them lots of sex, because it was the first time I actually walked in your guys' shoes. So I understand that women can't understand it because we don't have the drive. And therefore I'm like, you guys can't understand. But at the same time, if you value your husband, if you want to keep him around, you better be sleeping with him, because if not, somebody else, especially if he's a high value man, some other woman is standing by. And married men are highly valuable to other women because it's some kind of like social proof. Like, oh, you know.
Yeah, we talked about that a few moments ago, where women want what other women want.
Yeah.
So women would rather date a successful married man than a loser that lives in his mom's basement that's single, right? Because of that true selection,
absolutely.
Right? Like a handsome, successful man that has women around him or is married demonstrates to other women that, you know, other women have already chosen him. So it saves them the hassle of trying to vet that guy. Like, the easiest way for a woman to vet a high value man is to see a guy with beautiful women in his proximity.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're a man that can actually initiate and hold conversations with other women, it doesn't even need to be anything flirty intentionally. Just being able to have a social conversation is enough to make a woman jealous. And I don't think it's a wise move for a man to try to appease a woman's jealousy, because that's going to work in his favor. Don't go and intentionally try to do it, but if it happens, and it will, because we're just jealous creatures. Let that brew a little bit, because that says that she's still invested in you. She's still interested, and she knows that you probably have some options if she doesn't keep herself in a line.
All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here, where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.